Hi, this is Mark with Right Line Trading. Today is March 9th, um, 2015, and I want to go over our trading with you today. Now, first, let's go over gold. Now, gold today, um, we started trading about 8:20, and as you can see, this was a very aggressive, whoops, potential short. You have the break, the retracement. You have order flow and momentum, but you have a fairly strongly rising 50, and you have no bias. So I laid off both of these entries, this one and this one. Now both of them worked, but that's okay. They just were a little rugged for me. Then I took this bounce off the 50. It had order flow and momentum, and it went down for exactly 10 ticks. Um, and what I did was I took 5 contracts off. I'm sorry, 3 contracts off at 5. So that was a $150 trade. Now, I should have taken this bounce as well. You can see on this pattern here. You see how the down candle totally engulfs the up candle. And this would have been a tremendous trade, a 33-tick trade, and actually would have closed out our day. But I didn't take it. Have to watch for this pattern. And then crude gold quickly became oversold. So we had one trade, a short trade that went 10. We took 3 contracts, all our contracts off at plus 5. Then on crude, this was the first trade we had. Now, this was a great trade. We had the move to the downside, retracement right back to the modified 15, down with order flow and momentum. It did not have a 1-tick pullback, and we are the only trading room in the world that requires a 1-tick pullback in order to get everyone in the trading room executed. So it's a no pullback trade, and it went for 18 ticks, and I did not count it. So it was a very, very nice trade that I didn't book. But I did get this short here, and this went whoops, excuse me 1 second here. For 11 ticks. So I got the 11-tick trade. I did get the 18-tick trade, but the 18-tick trade did not come with our 1-tick pullback requirement to get everyone into the room into the trade. Now, and this hurt us because the market really became very, very choppy. Now, this was a very aggressive trade that I took, and it showed because it hit me with a 9-tick loser. And what happened was I got the break and the retracement. The retracement was not nearly, now the 15 had crossed the 50 to the downside. But this 15, this was not nearly close enough to the 50. It was 6 ticks off. And it was really a hanging entry. And bam, it came right back. And this really wasn't actually a bad long trade. It quickly picked up bias. Then these were very tough entries, quite frankly. They were way, way off the 15, way off the 15. So I missed that move to the upside. If there was a place to take it, it was right here. Here was the place to take it. And then crude just ran away with really nothing great to trade. This is a very, very aggressive short because, again, you're off the 50. Your 15's heading up. Very, very tough trade without bias. Now, when I took that trade earlier, it failed. In this particular case, it succeeded. But the point is, we don't want to take that risk. I mean, a large component of day trading is discretionary. And you just have to go with the most conservative entries that you can. Whoops, excuse me. Now, on natural gas, we could not get a trade. It gapped down last night, Sunday night, and then it just really didn't give us any kind of retracement or any kind of opportunity to get into it. There was nothing that we could do on natural gas. It was a non-starter. Then on the ES, we also had no trades. I went over all the potential trades. Couldn't take this trade because of the pivot. It just broke the pivot. This was a trade that multi-candle retracement that didn't come with order flow and momentum. This was another break of the 15 right into a pivot. It just would have made a first target. Actually, it would have probably made two targets. I mean, the ES just broke all the pivots today, but there's no way that you can predict that. Yeah. And I was watching this trade at the end of our session, and as a potential long, luckily we didn't take it because the market just collapsed. So there really wasn't anything to trade on the ES. And then it was the Russell that kind of really nicked me today. We had a negative net equity day today, and the Russell was the culprit. Or I shouldn't blame it on the market, I should blame it on myself. Now, this is all chop. It is essentially untradeable. This is a potential trade to the upside on a break of the 50 with the 15 heading up. We saw another one of those. And I'm going to take all the marks out and just show you here. Now, I did get this successful trade here. We had the break, retracement, and the move down. Just looking at the Russell because okay. And here's where I really got hurt. Right in here. Now, I took this break and retracement, but the 15 had not crossed the 50. Now, it doesn't have to, but it's a lot more risky. Like if you look at this trade, the 15 hadn't crossed the 50, yet it was extremely successful on a break of the 50. In this particular trade, the 15 hadn't crossed the 50, and it was it just added a little more risk. I took it and we got stopped out. I then took this retracement and took it out at -7 for another loser. Then we had this retracement, and I was, in shell shock from taking two losers in a row, and that one flew. Now, the thing about the trade is this, is that from the initial entry, which on this trade was the close of the candle, 1219.5 right here, to the high here, is, I believe, 11 ticks. Well, it's not 9. I can tell you that. Let me see. Let me remove that. There we go. Well, here it's reading 10. If I would have stayed, if we had a bigger stop of just 2 more ticks, would have stayed in this trade all the way. I never would have stopped us out. Because the trade, you can see, is just moving laterally. And then eventually, when it hits the modified 15 right on the nose, with order flow and momentum, down it flies. So, you know, the Russell hurt me today. 2 losses in a row is a lot. And the fact that I didn't get a pullback for an entry on a 17-tick trade also was damaging. Again, I said we're the only room that I know of in the world that requires a 1-tick pullback to try to assure that every trader in the room gets our entries. So here's how we did for the day. We had 6 trades, 3 winners and 3 losers. On the Russell, we made 6 ticks, which is 1 off at 6, 2 off at no profit, the -9 and the -7 that I showed you. Crew, we were plus 11, 1 off at 6, 1 off at 11, 1 off at plus 2 ticks, and we had the -9. Then we had the gold trade for plus 10 ticks, where I took 3 off at 5 ticks. Net ticks were 2. Net equity was a -$350, and the auto trader had no trades. If we would have gotten a 1-tick pullback on that first trade I took, we would have been done with $500 and out at 2 wins and no losses. But that's the way the market goes. You know, we have a 1-tick requirement, again, unique to our trading. And even though it makes it tougher for me and may hurt our room equity, it's much good for you because we don't wind up booking winners that you don't get into. And that's the purpose of the room, not to post stellar room numbers, but for you to post stellar numbers in your Superdome. So please come into the room, sign up for a free trial. Go to www.rightlinetrading.com, and there you can sign up for a daily. There's a link to sign up for our a free week in our live trading room. There's also a link to our daily net equity in the training room, a link to our daily net equity on the auto trader. There's a link to a contact us page, or you can just, it's a pre-formatted email you can send us, or you can go to email us directly at info@rightlinetrading.com, or call us at 1-855-765-6681. We really hope you come into the room for a trial. I guess, for better or for worse, we post our results. We had a little bit of a drawdown day, but a lot of it had to do with really difficult trading on the Russell, and also the fact that we got a really beautiful trade that just didn't work because we didn't get our 1-tick pullback requirement. So listen, everyone, have a great afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow. I know that we will make it up and then some. And I hope everybody has a great afternoon. Take care.